I can't do it.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. It. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Thing sucks.
Here we go. We welcome you in. It's another edition of the Daily Puck Drop here on a Thursday, September 25th. It was a fun night last night over the ballpark. There's a lot to get caught up on today's show. We've got a jam-packed show for you. AOS champions are your Seattle Mariners. Mike Garafolo will join us here in about 5 minutes. We'll talk a lot of Cal Raleigh today. Another edition of KJ-Arent's Mitch Unfiltered. No Brad Adam today. We will get Brad on hopefully tomorrow or the next day. But again, a lot of Mariners talk today as they clinch the American League West title. They still got a chance at that second seed, which is right there for them. They've got the magic number down to one game. Did I say number one seed? Number two seed. But they still do have a shot for the number one seed as well. Cal Raleigh with 60 home runs. Just an amazing night last night. I had a chance to be down at the ballpark with the family. It was just it was incredible all the way around, and just an awesome night there at the ballpark. All right, coming up on the show, as I mentioned, Mike Garafolo will do a little NFL, as we always do, right on the top of the show here on Thursdays. Then we'll get back into the Mariners. We'll do I got a little sneak peek, or not sneak peek, but you're going to hear from a little Joel Damon and a little of the old Crimson. But we'll get a lot of Cal Raleigh in today on the Daily Puck Drop, your daily sports podcast, and then KJ-Arent's with Mitch Unfiltered coming up a little bit later. And a reminder on Mitch Unfiltered of KJ-Arent's. It is during the live show. It is free. You get it for free. You get to watch and listen to the entire thing. Now, once it's over, the only way to watch or listen to it is to sign up to become a Puck's Posse member. All right, here we go. We're broadcasting, as we always do, from the Limback Lumber Studios. Contractors, they offer free deliveries, everything from whole house packages to homeowner DIY projects. Largest stock moldings in the Northwest. Old school service. They've been doing it since 1930. Give them a call, 206-782-3487. Visit them online at limbacklumber.com. You can follow me on all the social media platforms, by the way. Of course, that's Puck Sports on X, Instagram, Blue Sky, Puck_sports on TikTok. And, of course, you can find us on Facebook and pucksports.com. Everything is there. You can sign up to become a Puck's Posse member. Also, all of our video and audio up there at pucksports.com. Mariners West champions. The scenarios tonight before we hear from Mike Garafolo of the NFL Network. 4th division title in their existence. It's amazing, but it's been an amazingly long time for them. 24 years. They've got still now the second seed is out there for them. Cleveland and Detroit will finish up their series later this evening. Just the magic number is just down to one. Mariners win, loss from Cleveland, and they will clinch the second seed. They still have an outside shot for the number one seed with the Yankees and Toronto battling things out. In theory, they are tied, but really Toronto is ahead because they've got the tiebreaker in that series. Cal Raleigh with 2 home runs last night, 59, and then his last at-bat, his 60th home run. So now he is 2 away from tying the Major League Baseball record. Yeah, that's the Major League Baseball record. 62 is it. And he's 3 away from breaking it. It'll be interesting to see what the lineup is tonight. These boys were getting shit-faced last night in the clubhouse once again. Good for them, as they should. This should be not a real murder's row tonight lineup here for the Mariners, but expect Cal Raleigh to be in as he continues to chase history. As it stands right now, Mariners would play the winner of the Detroit and Cleveland wild card series. On the other side, it would be the Yankees and the Red Sox. The winner then goes on to Toronto. National League is insane. It's going to be a great run there in the National League. You get the Phillies. They get a bye. They're going to be waiting if they're going to get the Dodgers. They're on the other side. Cubs, Padres. The winner of that one would end up playing the Brewers. So the NL is going to be wild. All of that. We've talked a lot of baseball. And we got Thursday Night Football on tonight. This is how many times the Seahawks get trumped for anything. But yeah, the Seahawks playing tonight down in Arizona, a place that they have dominated for many, many years. Let's get an update on all things NFL. It is our good friend from the NFL Network, all brought to you by Hartley and Hartley Insurance, Zogs on Fox Island. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Garafolo from the NFL Network. And you know what? In a few weeks, we may be enemies in the World Series. You never know.
That'd be nice. That'd be fun.
Yeah,
Come in, would you come in like the old school radio days and do the road games?
I would like to. You know what? I think we could pull it off. Now I've got to talk to the CFO of Puck Sports, and she's in the other room right now to ask her for permission and see if we could write off some things. How much can we expense? I think we expense the whole thing.
If you come in, I'll meet you down there. How about that?
It'd be awesome. It'd be awesome for them to get there, and obviously, for you guys, you're seeking a World Series there as well. It would be a great series, and baseball's fun. It's just a fun time right now. Mike is, us being sports fans, right, of everything. You're a huge baseball fan. We've talked about it before, but it's just great that when this time of year when it all collides, right, the NFL, baseball, all of it. Yeah, I mean,
I wish it didn't. Yeah, I wish it didn't. I wish baseball playoffs were in August when I wasn't busy, but it is really, I mean, that's the trouble with baseball is I follow the whole season, and once we get to this point, I'm barely watching. Like the Phillies hit 8 home runs last night, and I saw them all on social media. That's how I watched that one. So it is what it is.
That's how you took in the game last night. Well, you know what? You're like a teenager, Mike.
Consuming via Snapchat and Instagram and everything. Yeah, I guess that's how they live their lives now.
That's how my daughter does. That's everything in her life that she consumes is coming from TikTok and YouTube and all that. Are you
TikTok,
kidding me?
That's the one I forgot. Yeah, TikTok.
Oh God, if I have to watch my kid, this is my kids just like ding, 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 ding. I'm like, what are you doing? Just watching TikTok. I'm like, oh my God, it's unbelievable.
I mean, I sort of do the same, so I can't throw stones.
We all do. We're all guilty. You're a content creator now that I think about it. God, I wish I would. You know what? I was so busy this morning, I forgot to get it. I would reminded myself.
You're gonna run it here?
I wanted to run it here. There's no way you did that on your own.
Okay. Believe what you want to believe. Although my mother-in-law was asking me last night about it. She's like, "Who did the like when you were picking up your coffee?" And I was like, I went like this.
It was great. You've learned from some of the best.
No, editing is my superpower.
You're good.
I had video production in college, and we had a video project of I want to say 7 people, and we shot it all together, and then we got to the editing part of the project, and there were 7 of us in this small editing booth, and I just at one point turned around and was like, go get drunk. I got this. Goodbye. And they're gone. They were out of there. 6 of them. But I know. I enjoy doing it. I love doing it. Like everybody, when you're watching the Oscars, that's best actress, best and best picture, best editing. I'm locked in. I can't wait for that award. That's my award.
You know what? I learned something new about you all the time, Mike. It's Mike_Garafolo on Instagram, correct?
Yeah, let's get those views up. We got a lot of engagement, as they want to say. I don't know if engagement, but the views are lower than I thought. But yeah,
it's really well done. So Mike,
it was
his day on Sunday because you covered the Eagles game in the morning and then drove to cover the Giants game on Sunday Night Football.
Yes, and on my birthday, by the way, which I didn't want to.
Birthday.
Well, the only reason I mentioned that, thank you. The only reason I mentioned that is because Earth, Wind, and Fire September is sort of like my honorary theme song because the 21st night of September, which I was like, well, I gotta set it to that, and then everybody else in the entire planet that posted an Instagram reel that day used the same damn song, and I was like, but that's not right. Like I should. So I almost felt like a cliche, but I'm like, no, but it's my, to the point where, and I mentioned this to Kyle Brandt recently. He said that was on their do not playlist at their wedding, and I said, well, it's funny because it's played at every wedding, not every wedding, but a lot of weddings, and yet the one guy who didn't play, I forgot. Like I should, and I got married around my half birthday, so we could have done a whole happy half birthday to the groom Here's Earth, Wind, and Fire September. I forgot to play it, but anyway, no, I had fun. I was and in Philly, I had a producer who was. I said, hey, when I'm doing stuff, just start shooting. Like I felt like a wannabe celebrity.
You are.
Shoot me, wannabe influencer. I guess is what I'm saying. Shoot me doing this, shoot me doing that. But I needed that footage, and he was great. JB Kretz did a great job, but he wasn't with me with the Giants, so everything with the Giants was sort of, and I didn't really do that much of it because I didn't want to. And I was trying to catch up with people.
I
but
like
that was the
more
point.
of when in the morning when you went to the bagels place, and then what's the story on the sandwiches? I think they talked about on the broadcast. You showed the picture of it. What's the Jersey sandwich that you featured and they featured on the game?
So the meat is it's the meat in question, and the reason that I included it is down in Philly it's called pork roll. Up in North Jersey it's called Taylor ham. And somewhere around the middle is like where the debate happens, and that's where I started my day down the shore. So they have the shirts, and you go in there and at Barron's Bagels, and whoever they're wearing different shirts. Somebody's wearing the pork roll one, somebody's wearing the Taylor ham one, and so that's why I included it because I was going to be on both ends of the debate that day. But yeah, it's called. I don't even know if you have it out there. Pork roll, Taylor ham. Do you have any of that stuff out there? I don't even know
No.
what it would.
What's on it?
No. That's the meat itself.
Oh, okay, the meat.
Yeah, so you'll get a sandwich with, depending on what you call it, pork roll or Taylor ham, egg and cheese. So it's just it's a ham. It's probably a mystery meat. You probably don't want to know what's in there. I mean, in Philly they've got Scrapple. Have you ever heard of Scrapple?
No.
Okay, so Scrapples, the origins of Scrapple was literally the scraps of all the meat, all the leftovers, all the innards. It's fantastic. It's delicious. I mean, it's horrible for you, but it's so good. So in Philly, they have, gosh, where is it? Is it Western PA? There's someone who has like something similar, but there's like potatoes mixed in. But they now make Scrapples sort of out of the same stuff. But like the legend is that it was everything that hit the floor in the slaughterhouse was just scooped up and made into a mystery meat.
Yeah, I'm trying to now transition back to somehow into the Seahawks or the NFL, and I can't because I'm not good at it.
Take a hard turn.
Yeah, it's a hard. Yeah, it is. Well, hey, let's do this. You were in. Let's start with the Eagles first. Impressed with the Rams? I mean, God, you're looking at the Rams and you're like, Jesus, man, they're kind of handling Philly. And I'm like, I don't know if the Rams were going to be. I don't know how good the Rams were. Now, obviously, you saw the result there, but what was your takeaway of watching the Rams in person and Matt Stafford?
Yeah, I mean, they're really good up front. I was surprised at how Jared Verse was having an impact, and you saw the impact of losing Lane Johnson in the way that they attacked the right side of that line immediately, and then Matt Pryor got pulled. Fred Johnson comes in as the right tackle for the Eagles, and that seemed to solidify things. The other thing was, at some point, Jalen Hurts just started taking shots and throwing the ball to A.J. Brown. Like, if he's not open, he's open type stuff. And I think that was the difference. And everybody's freaking out down there. They still are about the change in offensive coordinator and Kevin Patullo. And, why isn't this offense? Because sometimes Jalen would just throw it up before. Now, for some reason, he hasn't. And frankly, in the first 2 weeks, he didn't have to. They got to a point now where they had to. And now he started to say, let me give my guy a chance to make some plays. Boom, AJ, boom, Dallas Goedert. They're in the end zone, and that entire game flipped right there. So, crap, Vivian's home. Hang on. Let me go to the other
room. Vivian is one of his daughters.
Yeah.
Audience.
Yes.
She is a hurricane, ladies and gentlemen. She'll come in and what she wants is to be a star.
She's been waiting a couple years for that.
Well, but it's going to come.
She's got her own TikTok.
Of course she does. Of course she has her own TikTok.
No, I said that she can wait until she does.
Oh, but here's what you want more views. Put her on your Instagram. She'll blow up your.
My wife doesn't want the kids. She's on there, but she's tagged private, which I think I've got you as one of my close friends. Anyway, I felt for the Rams because they had been thinking about that game for 8 months. And Kyron Williams admitted it to me pregame. It's like, I got all these feelings that came back just walking in this place again. And there's a clip out there that I just saw this morning of Jared Verse saying what he's going to do after they make the field goal. You guys are going to have to bleep me or something like that, or get the camera away from me because I'm going to. And just to see his face just sink. A guy that grew up in roughly the Philly area. His face just sinks when they block that kick and return it all the way. Jordan Davis. which he ran 18.5 miles an hour, which I was looking for. I'm pretty sure I came close to that on a treadmill, but I'm talking all out, everything as if my life depended on it. My man was just cruising at 18.5.
And how big is Jordan Davis?
330 pounds at least. Although he's trimmed down from last year, and that's been a big. That's been a big reason.
That shouldn't be possible. That shouldn't be humanly possible
to run that fast,
to be that big and run that fast.
Yeah, these guys are on another level, man. These guys are on another level.
You know, I think you and I have talked about this before, right? What is the future of football? Like in 10 years, are we going to have a 400-pound lineman?
No, I think there's a limit. And you've got Desmond Watson. We've got Desmond Watson with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who just came back, by the way. Desmond Watson at 460 pounds or whatever he was coming into the NFL, slimming down. You got to get to a reasonable weight. It's just at some point you just can't do that kind of stuff. But yeah, we're pushing the limits as much as possible.
If I could do this right now, like a roster from the 70s that played Jordan Davis's position, and then be like, how fast did that guy run? It's nothing like this.
No. And that guy at his time was fast for his size. And, we've and listen, along the way, we've had players. I heard you talk about the major league home run record. We've had players in all sports that have pushed limits beyond what they're supposed to push. I don't know what, today, honestly, truthfully, I don't know what the number honestly would be. I mean, they seem to have caught up in a lot of ways on testing and stuff like that. But you start to think about what we're doing to get out there and to be an NFL player and what it takes to compete at that level. It's just, it's beyond comprehension, which, by the way, is a complete, talking about a left turn, not a complete left turn, but there's a story in The Athletic today about John Abraham, one of the more underrated pass rushers who, so what was it? He left the Jets. He was going to go to Seattle, right? But he went to Atlanta instead, or he visited Seattle.
I vaguely remember that.
Yeah.
I always just remember his time more in Atlanta than anything.
Well, but it was in the story that he had two suitors, and I believe it was the Seahawks or Atlanta. He decided to go to Atlanta because he had more family there. But that guy's career and what he was dealing with in his personal life, man, woof, and that kind of stuff to compete on that level. I mean, he had this fantastic career, and he talks about how he could barely remember any of the good stuff in it. So check that out if you get a chance.
But you bring up something. How often do they get tested? Do players in the NFL get tested?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Good question.
Do you? What would you put a number on? Would you even speculate on a number?
There's a maximum, right? There's a maximum.
I'm saying like guys that are taking something illegally.
Yeah.
It's a surprise.
Oh, of the league?
Yeah. No, how many players? What do you think?
No. Half the league? You think is taking something illegal?
I don't know. I'm just throwing, a quarter of the league.
Oh, that's what you want me to guess. How many?
I don't know.
How many times they're tested? I don't know. I have no idea. Literally have no idea.
These guys are just, I just look at them and I'm like, it's just unbelievable. I mean, just in all athletes. I even think about
on the regular, and it's a surprise test. You'll see guys post it all the time. Oh, I had this game. Oh boy, a 3-touchdown game. Not a surprise. Look what I have in my locker. So the NFL does a good job, certainly a better job now than they have previously. And again, the testing is more is able to catch these things more often than in the past.
The other game that stood out, and it's a testament to Dan Campbell. He takes a Lions team in there. They lose their two coordinators, right? Mm-hmm. And he walks in there and he just keeps playing with the same attitude that he always has played and coached and all of it. And they go in there, they outscore the Ravens in the fourth quarter, and they come out with a 38-30 win. That just was a physical, fun game, and just to me speaks volumes of the coach that Dan Campbell is.
So I have some thoughts on this. I think this Lions team, and I think you're already seeing it, is going to be one of these up and down teams that when it's really good, it's going to be like, oh baby, these are the Lions, right? And this is the way the Lions have looked. And then they're going to have games sort of like that Green Bay game week 1, where some of the concerns that we've had will pop up. I thought Baltimore really suffered from the loss of Nnamdi Madubuike the other night, their defensive tackle. and I said this the other day, he makes $24.5 million a year. And after watching them without him, I don't think it's enough. They dominated. Detroit did the middle of that offensive line. And I'm not trying to take anything away from Detroit, but I just thought that's kind of the way it lined up. The other part of this is that the Lions have done a good job of drafting guys that are going to fit their culture. And they've been knocked for, or they were knocked at the time for, where they took Jahmyr Gibbs, where they took Jack Campbell. Now, by the way, you're seeing teams draft running backs that highly since they have done that. And it's like, oh, okay, running back is still an impact player if it's the right running back. And he's a culture guy, and you've established that culture. And Jack Campbell's the same way. Jack Campbell, by the way, made a huge play the other night where he got into Lamar Jackson's face as he was scrambling on that key play late in the game. So when you lose two coordinators and you lose Frank Ragnow and you lose some of these other guys they've lost, if you have enough of those guys, that helps you in spots like that where you're still a talented, competitive team. And you still have these kinds of, we were talking about on Good Morning Football this morning. Are you surprised that Ben Johnson left a place like that, went to Chicago and said, we don't have championship caliber practice habits around here? Because he's used to seeing it up there in Detroit for the last 3-4 years. So yeah, credit to them. They're still a playoff team. They're still a team that could, they're still not my Super Bowl team out of the NFC. But I still think they're really good, and I still think they're going to be competitive this year for sure.
Who is your Super Bowl team out of the NFC? Philly?
No, I mean, at this point, well, yeah, I mean, I like San Francisco, but this Bosa injury's got to hurt me. I can't stand on it without that. That's like, that guy is just an enormous impact player. It's not like, oh, well, you lost this, top receiver. Yeah, it hurts badly, but maybe you lost your running back or something like that. Man, that is a hard loss. So I'd probably lean more Green Bay at this point, and I'd put Philly in the mix as well. So I've got too many sort of above Detroit to say, well, they're going to bust through all these teams right now.
There's a lot of injuries, right? I mean, impactful injuries around this league. I mean, the quarterback situation, you just brought up Bosa, what the Seahawks are going to see tonight in Arizona. James Conner, the heartbeat of that team, really. There's been a lot of impactful injuries in the NFL, and then specifically impactful injuries, in the NFC West with what we just mentioned with Bosa and Conner going out.
Yeah. Do we know if is Paris Johnson playing tonight for Arizona? Because that's a big one for them. Was he listed as questionable, I believe?
I don't know. I don't know if he's playing.
I haven't really checked. Because he did not play the other day, and he's listed as questionable. He did practice, and my understanding was that he was. They were hopeful he was going to play. I just haven't double backed and checked. I'll do that at some point in here. I like Seattle tonight. I really do. I think they're playing better than. As I said, tonight is going to be the Byron Murphy national television coming out party because they've played Sunday afternoon games, and he's a first round pick, and you guys know that he's had a fantastic start to the season. I don't think the casual fan has seen it, and he might see it tonight. So I think that's going to be a big part of what they do, and their entire front's playing really well defensively. So I think a lot of people are going to see what the Seahawks team is about. I think they're firmly in the playoffs at this point, the way I'm looking at, especially if they wind up winning tonight. Really impressed with what the Seahawks have done in the last couple of weeks. It's
I've been joking with people all week. I do two things, Mike, when I watch the Seahawks now. And I wish I had, and if I was at the game, I'd have the old school, like old guy with the headsets on, they used to wear the headset with the binoculars. I'd have my binoculars. I watch two people, and that's all I watch. I don't watch the ball anymore. I don't watch anything other than Gray Zabel on offense, because I just like watching him maul people left and right. And then on defense, I watch Leonard Williams. You brought up Byron Murphy. Murphy has been great. Leonard Williams has been an absolute terror against offenses so far, 3 games into the season. And they're playing great football right now.
They are, and I am not impressed by what what Arizona is doing offensively. I still don't understand how you're not getting the ball more often to Marvin Harrison Jr. I think a lot of it lies in the quarterback. I think he's been okay. He hasn't been great. I don't see in this scenario how Arizona all of a sudden wins this game. I like Seattle tonight. I like Seattle comfortably.
Yeah, and you think about because I think even how many years has Kyler Murray been in the league now? I mean, it's been a bit, and I think we're still trying to figure out what is and who is Kyler Murray.
Yeah, 7-8 years probably at this point.
It's been that long.
Oh yeah, he got a contract extension 4 years ago. Pretty sure that's right when it was. And
right.
yeah, I mean Gannon's been there for 3 years, and he was there for the beginning of Cliff, so you're talking 7 years.
That's wild. I would never have guessed he's been in the league for 7 years.
And he's sort of just been there, right? Like he's been good enough to keep his job. He's been good enough to overcome all the questions that we had about him coming in with regard to stature. And yet, other than the Hail Mary pass, like what's the quintessential Kyler Murray moment? You don't really have one. I just, at some point, you're Arizona. It's like, where are we going? We're just kind of hanging around. Like, are we going to ever compete with this guy? We'll see.
Yeah, he just doesn't seem. You're right. You nailed it all. He just hasn't become that guy yet.
The numbers haven't been otherworldly. It's just like where Kyler Murray. Oh yeah, I remember the Kyler Murray era. It was okay, right? Do you want that to be what it is?
Yeah, the Seahawks have dominated down there at State Farm. I think they're 10-1-1. And they've won 7 straight against Arizona.
And Kyler's numbers,
Seahawks minus a 1.5.
And Kyler's numbers within the division, which I just saw, were horrific. Especially, I saw like first half numbers are brutal. He starts off games horribly in the division. So there you go. There's another tip for you tonight.
All right, not a sneaky big game, but one of the games as we look ahead to the schedule and the slate of games coming up this weekend. I'm going to revisit something here with the Falcons in a second, but Eagles, Buccaneers, both undefeated. Buccaneers, how real are the Buccaneers at 3-0?
They're real, but they're banged up, and I know it seems like Godwin's coming back as Evans is out, but the offensive line injuries, dealing with this, I just don't. And I know the Eagles have not played this team well, especially in Tampa. They're going down a day earlier to help acclimate with the heat or whatever. I also, that team last year was very short-handed when they played Tampa Bay. They are at full strength at this point, pretty much. I mean, Lane Johnson seems like he's going to play after last week's stinger. I think the Eagles go down there and win this game pretty easily.
Okay, back to I want to go to the Falcons here for a second. Penix did not look good. Has not really looked good all year. Well, I know we're just in the beginning of the year. They get hammered. They get hammered last week. What's going on down there? Would they ever pull the plug on him and put Cousins back in? Yeah, I'm just wondering. I mean, because I'm just wondering if they ever would do it.
Yeah, it'll take a while to get to that point, but yeah, they would if he does not pick up his play. And he looked really good last year, and just hasn't really. I mean, that game in Washington, I thought he looked fantastic. I said, oh boy, I like Michael Penix. It's a guy maybe the Giants should have taken. Yeah. Last week was just brutal. Listen, they hung on. Part of the reason they hung on to Kirk Cousins was if they needed him, they needed a backup they can rely upon. And I don't want to hear, at some point it might be, well, maybe him being around was detrimental, counterproductive when you're trying to develop Penix. I don't think that'll be a viable excuse or anything like that. Not to say that anybody there inside the building is using it by any stretch. But he's got to pick it up, and he's got to pick it up quickly.
How bad do you think Micah Parsons wants this game this week?
Pretty bad. He was very irritated by the lack of communication down the stretch in those negotiations. We were talking about this in Good Morning Football, and if who would you rather hear from after the game in an interview? And I said, how about Kenny Clark? How about a 3-time Pro Bowl defensive tackle? An integral part of the Packers, and now this team is seemingly reaching great heights, and now he's in Dallas with, if this game goes as we expect it to go, a 1-3 team as the 3-1 team is leaving the building, potentially headed to the Super Bowl. How do you feel if you're Kenny Clark? I think Micah wants it bad. And I know he's not leaving without a sack of Dak, which if I'm Dallas, I try to use that to my advantage. Like, you feel like he can't defend the run. He really isn't going to defend the run in this game. He wants one thing and one thing only: Dak on his back.
The decision, speaking of quarterback situations, the decision to bench Russell Wilson, Mike, and go with Jackson Dart. It felt like it was inevitable that it was going to happen. What does this mean, I guess, for Russell Wilson's tenure in New York? And then for Brian Daboll, is he rushing in a young quarterback too soon?
No, I don't. I don't think so. In large part because he looked really good throughout the spring. He looked really good in the summer in training camp. He didn't make the same mistakes over and over. He learned. He asked questions. He showed to be. I think he really handled being the backup, but knowing he's the guy about as well as you could have possibly asked. He had a presence about him. He started with the leadership stuff in as much as he could with Russell Wilson serving as the starting quarterback. And, Russ having an impact. I made the case, and I firmly believe this. Obviously, I don't just say things on the air for any reason other than I believe them. If Russ never takes another snap for the Giants, it doesn't mean it was a bad signing. He's had an impact there. He's brought an energy that they didn't have at the quarterback position in the quarterback room. He's brought winning habits. I mean, I someday the folks in Seattle who necessarily don't have the fondest memories of Russ because of how it ended up, someday you'll take a step back and realize this dude was a legitimate Super Bowl winning quarterback because of the way that he was and the things that he did. And he brought those winning habits to this building, and it's rubbed off on a lot of people, including Malik Neighbors. I'm told that he and Russ really, I should say he really took a lot of things of what he does day in and day out from what Russ does day in and day out. So, they took their shot at Matthew Stafford. They took their shot at Aaron Rodgers. They had to settle for Russ. But in the end, it was because they knew what they were going to get out of him. They did get it out of him. The problem is he had a really good camp, and he played really well in the preseason. But when it got live, the things that bogged him down the last couple of years, eyes down, looking at the rush, all that stuff came back when it really got live, and just he wasn't able to play above that.
What is the relationship? I mean, they don't have one now, but what was it? What do you think it is now between Russell and, let's say, the Seahawks brass?
Non-existent. I mean, I don't think they're in regular communication.
No, but I guess I mean if we were to ask ownership or front office, hey, what do you feel about Russell on a personal level? Would they be like, good riddance? Hey, we wish him the best.
I think they're at an arm's length now. I mean, he's on his third team since he left. I think now they have the fond memories. That's what happens over time. Brent Musburger went back to CBS the other day, and I had no idea that he felt the way that he did about CBS, and he only brought it up 16 times during the course of the show about his exit there, and said, "Well, 45 years later, I feel a lot better." Yeah, that's what happens over time. You remember the fond memories, and you're not left with how things ended when they're a bitter type ending. So
it's a real Mike. It's a real weird dynamic out here. Very weird when it comes to him, how people feel about him. Yeah, there's a lot of people in this town that really, like when he got benched the other day, celebrate that he got benched, glad that he got benched. There was a debate out here, and now I didn't really know. I didn't know the requirements for the Seahawks and their jersey retirement, which I think is kind of whatever. They want to
enlighten me.
You have to play the entire career with the Seahawks. You have to be in the Hall of Fame. Because somebody had asked me, I think I had said, hey, well, I think his jersey will get retired one day. But then I'm not knowing that. I think I vaguely remember the Hall of Fame thing. I forgot that their requirements have got to be there the entire time, which I feel is like,
enlighten me. Has anyone worn 3 since left?
Oh yeah. Eamon Worry wears it right now.
Oh right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Which is fine. I'm not. There's only so many numbers when it comes to the NFL. Yeah. I'm totally fine with that. Doesn't strike me as a sign of disrespect when they do it right away. Sometimes that's like but or they give it to the next quarterback or something like that. So
I find that policy a little weird. I mean, there's a lot. You could have a lot of great players. Like, okay, Bobby Wagner. You're going to tell me you're not going to retire Bobby Wagner's 54 because he didn't play his entire career in Seattle. Give me a break. Bobby Wagner is the best middle linebacker in the history of the organization. And I can make an argument. He's a top 5 middle linebacker of all time. of all time.
I would also take into consideration how the guy left, and I'm pretty sure that they weren't willing to go to a place that other teams were, if I recall correctly.
Right. And so I that whole philosophy they have, I think, is archaic. I think, you can retire a number if you wanted to, if he didn't play his entire career there or is not in the Hall of Fame, but whatever. But there's people, even if you bring up their Ring of Honor, which every team's got this like Ring of Honor. I think there's people out here that would say, no, he shouldn't be in it. And I just find it like it is weird how some fans feel about him because and media members, how they feel about him. Yet it's the same fans or media members. And I don't mean to take shot. I'm not going to name a specific player, but players on this team who have DUIs, trouble with the law. And I'm like, this is a guy, I don't know how he treated people behind the scenes, Russell. I'm not there. I don't know. I have no idea. All I know is he didn't get in trouble. He was a pretty damn good football player. He's the best quarterback the organization's ever had. There is no debate about that. And I just think it's a weird, as the kids would say, Mike, flex of how people feel about him out here.
The word that I would use that I think people, I think they think he's corny, right? A lot of the stuff that he does. And I would say that there's I mean, this has been said to me, so I'm not just making this up, but there is a section of the NFL fan base and certainly probably from the Seahawks fan that think he's a phony. I don't think that that's accurate. I've dealt with him. I mean, when you're around him, he's not like he wouldn't be a friend of mine, right? But if I had him around and certainly a situation like this with the Giants where they needed that, it's like, because what he did was he came here and he was so positive, right? Let's go, come on. And you get the guys going, quarterbacks and otherwise, that now like Dable could crack the whip a lot of times on the team and feel like they could counterbalance each other, sort of he could play good cop, bad cop type thing. And I think that was helpful in allowing, Dable to not, because Daniel Jones wasn't doing that for the Giants, and it just was not a good match. It wasn't a good, from a personality standpoint. They needed a jolt, and they got one but not just Russ, like adding Jameis, adding Jackson, who's got his own swagger in his own way. That quarterback room completely flipped on its head. The results aren't there yet, but I think they're moving in the right direction, and I think Jackson Dart's going to wind up playing well over the next 14 weeks or whatever it is.
Do you think, and sometimes I think you answer this yes or no real quick. Do you think Russell Wilson's a Hall of Famer?
No. Not an immediate one.
Because of the post Seahawks career, because it didn't really work out in the other stuff.
Yeah. Because, it's not like, it was, like you can't, whatever Aaron Rodgers has done with the Jets and will do with the Steelers, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. It's Joe Namath in a Rams uniform. It doesn't matter, right? Like the hay is in the barn with regard to his Hall of Fame career. Russ was traded to the Broncos, and certainly the contract and what they gave up for him indicates where he was in his career. And it just didn't materialize, didn't manifest itself. That was a horrible matchup. Of Sean Payton and of Russell Wilson, of their personalities. And if he had gone somewhere else, maybe it plays out a little bit different. But I think that's certainly going to be case against Russell Wilson when it comes to the Hall of Fame. Will he get in my lifetime? Probably. Will it be early on? No.
It's interesting. You look at just some of his career numbers, and again, it's football's not like baseball where you're so number centric, but 12th in touchdown passes for his career in the history of the sport, 15th passing yards. I think he's 5th in passer rating. And I was just looking up, I want to see where he was at completion percentage wise. That was another one, but I don't know. It's, I think had he gone to Denver, they were really good, or one of the stops. And he was Russell where he was in Seattle probably. But it's when you go back, or they win the second one, right? If they beat New England, he's probably in, but I think the post Seahawks career certainly hinders him, no doubt. All right, sorry about this. This is a long visit with you. I know you got to go. I apologize. I'll send more money in the mail.
Okay. if you must.
Thank you, Mike. With anything tonight, Thursday Night Football?
I gave you. I already said I like Seattle, right?
No. But are you doing anything? Are you on anywhere?
Oh, yes,
doing anything?
yes. I'll be. We got our usual insiders on Fast TV. And then game day kickoff, which starts 3:00 your time. We will be previewing the game. You're going to want to check out all of that as we get you ready for kickoff on Prime Video tonight, and locally, whatever channel's carrying it locally.
Channel 13, I believe. All right.
There you go.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. Say hi to the family.
You got it. Thanks,
there he
bud.
is. Mike Garafolo, NFL Network, all brought to you by Hartley and Hartley Insurance. Your trusted family-owned insurance experts in the Puget Sound area since 1978. Honesty, fairness, integrity. Contact Jamie Hartley, 253-565-8700. Also, Zogs on Fox Island, perfect spot to grab a cold beer, hang out with friends, and catch the game. Check them out on Zog. Check out their hours for Zogs on Facebook and Instagram. We'll table the Russell thing for another time. Whatever. I just I find it interesting how people, fans and people in the media view him and talk about him. And again, I'm not going to pretend to know who he is or any of these guys. I don't interact with any of them. But so a lot of other players on this team have done a lot of other stuff that you all just seem to give a free pass to. Like, oh, that's fine, because he's a little bit more likable than him. And as for the Hall of Fame stuff, if I'm Seattle, if I'm the Seahawks, I am scrapping that whole number retired thing, because you cannot tell me. First of all, take out Russell. You want to not retire number 54 because he didn't play his entire career here? That is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. Ever. And I don't know if that is a hard and fast rule they have, or it's just what they've done, but come on, man. That's ridiculous. Ridiculous. He's arguably one of the best middle linebackers to ever play. Ever. All right. Let's get back to baseball. What a night last night. Everyone. God, it was awesome. I was there with my family. Actually, we left the daughter at home. She had dive practice and homework, so she did not get a go. But my wife and the vampire went. You couldn't have scripted last night any better. And I mean, from the win, from Castillo, from the offensive explosion, and of course from a Cal Raleigh.
20,000 chanting MVP. Fly ball to right field, number 60! A catcher has hit 60 home runs! Your MVP moment, Cal Raleigh!
You saying we love you, might as well go win the whole fucking thing.
And he did again last night. That was from a couple of nights ago. Cal Raleigh, number 59. And then in the 8th inning, as you all know, number 60. And by the way, it's all over social media. God, does anybody know who that guy is? We'd love to get him on Puck Sports and congratulate him. The gentleman, the adult man that you've seen on social media. If you don't know the story, he caught number 60. I don't know who he's there with. Obviously, he's not there with his kids, because he would have given it, I would think, to one of his kids. Guy catches the ball, hands it. Number 60. Think about what he did. Number 60. Hands it to a young kid in the audience, who then is rushed away by Mariners personnel. Whoever that gentleman is, good on you, man. That's awesome. That's what that sports is all about right there, especially that sport. So if you know that guy, thank him and send me his name. We'd love to praise that guy. That was incredible last night. The Phillies fan, right? That gal that got all upset and ripping the ball away from that one kid. But just an incredible night. It had it all. The crowd was great. I mean, I shot this video after this was like 20 minutes. A little loud. This is 20 minutes after the game. I mean, people just not wanting to leave the stadium. And I mean, people wanted to hang out forever. I mean, I think people were there they were finally escorted out. It was great to be able to see it in person. I mean, the last time that they clinched, 2001, I'm living down in Vancouver, Washington, Portland, Oregon, fresh out of college. Didn't get to see none of this live, and to watch it, to see where they're at, to see Cal Raleigh in the moment, the first ball he hit, Jesus, like 7-8 guys have hit it up there. I think Raley's the last one to do it. Incredible. And he just has this, there's no, and again, it's right or wrong. There's no showboating to it. There's no just mammoth bat flip, although I like it. I like when Naylor does his bat flip and yells and screams. So, but the way that Cal does it, he just jogs around the bases. The humility that he carries himself when he does the interview after the game. Not once, not twice, I think 3 different times he's doused with water by teammates. The thing about Cal Raleigh that I think sets him apart from so many different athletes, it's not about individual goals and what he's done. And he's embarking on arguably the greatest season we've ever seen from a catcher that most likely will land him and hand him an American League MVP award, or hand him an MVP award in general. And he's just like, oh, yeah. But what was important was how Castillo threw the ball today, or how George threw the ball today, or Logan Gilbert's fastball. He deflects at every turn. The guy deflects away from himself and puts the focus back on the team. You watch those interviews, you've seen him. He's shy when he talks about himself. He does a thing once a week with Shannon Drayer. Shannon does a great job. And even in those settings, he starts talking about himself, you don't get much. She asked him a question in one of the recent episodes. I saw a clip of it. It was great. Sandwiches. They were talking about sandwiches. And you saw like his personality come out, because he was so hyper focused on his favorite sandwich and the favorite sandwich his mom makes. But again, it's again talking about somebody else, not really himself or something other than baseball. He is a treasure that we have in this town, an absolute treasure for that organization. The fact is, they signed him to the deal they signed him to. That is a steal right now, what they got Cal Raleigh at. And you start looking ahead to this organization and what's ahead of them right now. It's weird as someone who's like all of us who have been these lifelong Mariner fans. And, for my existence, it's been nothing but disappointment. I mean, it's 95. It's 2001. I mean, there's 2000 in there, and there's 97, and then there's 2022 and all that. But in large part, it has been an organization routinely that has let us down. I thought Ryan Divish did a great job today in the lead of his story, kind of detailing the past of the Mariners, where they have been, what they've become, what has transpired in the past 24 years between division crowns. And I think he did a great job of just summarizing where I think a lot of people are at with them. And it seems surreal to me, at least, and I don't know how others feel. We'll talk to Mitch coming up later in the podcast. KJ-Arent is coming up. By the way, reminder, you get the full podcast during the live show. Once the live show is over and we podcasted, The only place to watch and listen to it is if you sign up become a Pucks Posse member at pucksports.com. Or if you are already a Mitch Unfiltered member, you can view it there as well and listen to it. Anyways, it doesn't seem real that this team can win the whole thing. And I know it is. I mean, I think you know it is. I know it is. But when I hear people say, like Jim Duquette, who's on every week with us, former GM, MLB Network Radio, tell us that, yeah, them and the Yankees are the two best teams in the American League. They've got the two best rosters. When Fangraphs comes out with 20%, I think it was 21% chance not to get to the World Series, to win the World Series. That is remarkable. I kind of laugh internally because I'm like, it doesn't seem real. None of it seems real. I'm waiting till, I guess, for the other shoe to drop or to wake up from the dream that we are all currently in. That someone's going to throw a bunch of cold water on us. We're like, no, this isn't real. And to watch where they're at right now, and then you view them every night, you look at the other teams in baseball, and you ask yourself, like, who should this team really be concerned about? Like, they should be concerned about all of them. The point being is those other teams need to be concerned about Seattle. And you look at their matchup with both the Yankees and the Blue Jays. Now I'm going to fast forward, and we're getting way ahead of ourselves. They got to get through the American League Division Series first, and whoever it is, it's Cleveland, Detroit, what have you. And you start viewing the American League Championship Series. It's most likely going to be either New York or Toronto. Okay, well, now during the regular season, both of those teams took this season series against you, but you start evaluating, I think, the overall rosters of both, right? And started, wow, who's got the advantage where? And if it was Toronto, does Toronto have an advantage? Where does Toronto have an advantage over Seattle? Well, the Bichette injury is a huge factor into their playoff hopes. But you start looking at the pitchers that they throw. Gossman's great. Bieber's had a good year. Scherzer's there, but Scherzer hasn't had a good year. I think you would look and say, well, I'm going to give advantage, I think, to Seattle overall starters, advantage Seattle. Bullpen, advantage Seattle. You start looking at maybe some of the roster positions. Well, clearly, Raleigh's going to get an advantage over Alejandro Kirk. Now, first base, okay, well, I'm going to give him Guerrero. Second base, whatever the combo is, but second base, let's just say it's Polanco. Well, Polanco's got to upgrade over there at second base. Barger over there. They're at third base for Toronto. I'm going to sit there and take Suarez and what Suarez has been able to do. You start looking at shortstop with Jimenez, and then with J.P. Crawford. I mean, just go on and on. The outfield. I mean, you do the tail of the tape between those two teams, and you'd give the advantage pretty much almost in every category to the Mariners. Now you flip it over to the Yankees. And the Yankees are the team that should scare everyone. I mean, they got the most runs that they've scored in Major League Baseball, 827. They've got 266 home runs, which I believe leads baseball. Seattle, by the way, I think is second, but they're 30 behind. That's what's an amazing set. 30 home runs behind the Yankees, and they're second in baseball. OPS, very similar. Pitching overall, very similar between the Yankees and the Mariners. The overall pitching for the Yankees is at 394. And I'm getting so far ahead of myself. I know. Shut up. 384. The starters, fairly even. ERA-wise, starters for the Yankees have been better than the Mariners. And bullpen-wise, the Mariners bullpen is better than the Yankees. And defensively, the Mariners are better than the Yankees. And that's the thing with the Yankees is just put the ball in play against those guys because they will boot it around. But it will be a great tail of the tape between the two teams. Rice versus Naylor at first base. Jazz versus Polanco at second. McMahon versus Suarez at third. Volpe and JP at shortstop. Bellinger in left versus Randy Rosarina. Grisham and Julio there in center field. Judge obviously is clearly I think, better than Robles and the Canzone combination. And then DH is I also say John Stanton. I wish it was John Stanton, but Giancarlo Stanton there. So again, we're getting ahead of ourselves. There's so much time before they get to whoever they would play in the ALCS. But the point of that exercise was to say, yeah, when people say that they have the second best roster, or it's equal to the Yankees, you got to believe it. And you look to the other side, or those teams, they had a bad series against the Phillies, but look what they did to the Brewers here at home. We'll get a little taste of the Dodgers coming up this weekend. But I think it is, if you're like me, it is hard for a lot of us to accept probably where the Mariners are at. All right, let's get to it. Enough of me talking by myself. He's waiting by. Let's get him on. Ladies and gentlemen, we do this every single Thursday during the live show. It's another edition of KJ-Arent with Mitch Levy, Mitch Unfiltered podcast. You can sign up at MitchUnfiltered.com. The entire show podcast airs during the live daily puck drop, but once the live show concludes, the only way to catch KJ-Arent is to join Puck's Posse at pucksports.com or become a patron at MitchUnfiltered.com. Ladies and gentlemen, this guy was working overtime last night. I mean, he was doing the Mariners no table last night. I mean, come on, man. I mean, take a break, sir. Take a break.
And you don't know some of the things that I was doing away from the public eye, like trying to figure out how to sign Josh Naylor to a contract next year. I spent my whole night trying to figure that out.
Oh, just give him what he wants. Can I tell you something? I saw the best sign last night. And I'm kicking myself for not taking a picture of it. There was a young man. I was walking in the concourse, young kid, probably 23, 24. He had put on some big poster board, had written out a blank check. Put to Josh Naylor from the Seattle Mariners, the amount, put whatever you want. I don't know if he got on the TV last night. Somebody I wasn't there, didn't watch on TV. I don't know if they showed it, but it was a very creative sign by that young man.
You know what else we both like? We both like the story of the dude that caught home run for 60. But here's the thing. I mean, let's go ahead and call it what we need to call it. Right now, he's like Chris Farley's character when he asked a stupid question to like Paul McCartney. That guy right now who's being celebrated throughout the world on social media in a quiet moment is going, God damn it, what did I do? Why did I do that? What the hell's wrong with me?
Idiot. Once he realizes what he probably could have got from Cal Raleigh, the Mariners, he probably could have got tickets to the World Series. All he had to do was just hand him the ball, but he gets it to the young kid who now his family, what that family should do, be like, can we get tickets for the rest of the playoffs? And by the way, can we invite Ted? Can Ted come with us?
Who's Ted? Him?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just making he looked like a Ted.
My guess is, knowing the Mariners, the little that we all know them, knowing Kevin Martinez, the little that we know them, that they will find that guy and that guy will be well taken care of. Now, he's not going to be happy if he sees the ball going to like Christie's of New York, Christie's of London, and being auctioned off for $12 million. I don't think he'll be happy about that. I have a request before we start. I know you have lots of things to talk about, and I heard you babbling about the Mariners being the fan graph. Is that what we call it? The computers are saying that the Mariners are the favorite to win the World Series.
Not only the favorite, like the runaway favorites. It's 21%, and I think the next closest is like 12 or 13.
Who would you say, and this is not what I wanted to start with. Let me ask the quick question. It's actually a request. So a little behind the scenes to the KJ-Arents. We do this show, and then you take the show and you put it on for your patrons, your Patreon arm, for your subscribers. Correct. And when you do that, when you post that show on your Patreon for your subscribers, you do a headline and then you do a description. Okay? I've been wanting to talk to you about this for a few weeks. After you do that, you then send me the audio for me to put on my Patreon for my subscribers. So essentially, after we're finished here, the only people that can listen to this at their leisure are either subscribers of your Patreon or subscribers of mine. Mm-hmm. Now, what I typically do is, since you always beat me to the punch and have it on for your Patreons before mine, I typically do a copy and paste of your description of the show for my Patreons. But I've noticed as the weeks have gone on that description has become shorter and shorter. And it's gotten to the point where you're like, right,
Mitch is on. You know what? It's funny because I have learned here in doing all this, right? I don't have an army behind me like you do.
An army.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And when I'm writing it out, and I look at sometimes the descriptions when I write it out, and I'm like, God, this is like a War and Peace. Like, just say they came on, they talked about the Mariners and Ted catching the ball and the Seahawks game tonight. I don't know, because when I listen to a podcast, I'll be honest with you, and I flip it on, I never read the description. I just put the podcast on.
Oh, really?
And I just click play and go. And if I don't like it, maybe I'll fast forward it. But
it's a little bit of a
you are right, because you do a good job with the descriptions, and then you do a much better job with the headlines. I'm not a good headline writer.
It's a little bit of a pain in the ass, isn't it? It's a little.
It's where I go, hey, Chat GPT, write me a description for the Mariners show today. By the way, a little known secret: you want to get real crafty on that Riverside. If you use Riverside's got a little AI creator on there. You just say, hey, Riverside, find me this clip. Hey, Riverside, write up this script. Oh yeah.
I don't use AI, so I don't even know what you're talking about.
Well, you're people. First of all, this is not even Mitch right now. It's AI Mitch.
Ah.
Oh, and by the way, on Riverside as well, this is stupid, but
yeah,
you can record your voice there on there now and use it. AI voice.
I wouldn't know how to do any of that.
Yes, you would. Yes, you would. How'd you celebrate last night, huh?
Well, I want to go back to the Fangraphs decision that the Mariners are the overwhelming, as you say.
Overwhelming.
Who would you say right at this very moment, regardless of where they are in standings and what seed they're going to be, regardless of where they stand, just right now, if I said to you, give me 4 teams, not name the Mariners,
okay,
any 4 teams in baseball that you could walk up to the sports book and say, I like these 4 teams.
I would say the Phillies.
You don't have to do it in any kind of order. Phillies. I'm going to ring the bell.
Yankees.
I'm going to ring the bell.
Oh. Well, I mean, you have to go Dodgers. Yeah, you just have to, despite the pitchers.
I'm going to ring the bell, but they haven't played the Dodgers, so we're going to throw them out.
Yeah.
How about Milwaukee?
I don't know about Milwaukee. I'm not.
How about the Blue Jays?
No, I don't. I just don't. I'm not sold on the Blue Jays. One, the Bichette injury, and then I just don't think that they don't have the necessary arms in the bullpen.
Okay, so you would probably put Cleveland in there because they're so red hot.
And the starters with the Brewers, I don't know. I don't know if they've got enough horses in their starting rotation.
Forget my point. This kind of.
What you asked me? Who I gave you 3 teams,
but I thought you'd feed into the point, and now my point doesn't make any sense. But I was going to say. Does the computer that's ranking the Mariners as the overwhelming favorite to win the World Series know that against the Yankees, Blue Jays, Phillies, and Brewers, the Mariners are a combined, would you like to take a guess of their record in 18 games against Milwaukee, Phillies, Blue Jays, and Yankees?
Well, I do it. Take out the Brewers, and then it's worse.
Well, I mean, the Brewers are 1-2. They barely won a game. They almost got swept here by the Brewers. They went 0-3 against the Phillies, and they weren't close in any of the 3 games.
It's brutal.
They went 2-4 against the Blue Jays, and they went 1-5 against the Yankees, and they weren't close. They went a combined 4-14 against 4 of the best teams that they conceivably would have to go through. Does FanGraph know that, or did nobody put that into the computer?
So do you think they're frauds, is what you're saying?
No, I don't. I actually think the Mariners have a legitimate shot to win the World Championship, although I would pick the Yankees in a 7-game series over the Mariners. If that, so I'll just root like hell that the Yankees never see the Mariners. Maybe somebody else can do our dirty work for us and knock the Yankees out first, right? Before they get to the American League Championship Series against the Mariners, except for the scenario, Mr. Playoffs will tell you that there's a scenario where they got to play the Yankees in the divisional series, and we don't want that. Nobody wants that.
I almost forget about the Brewers series because my memory serves me when I was thinking back. I know, but I know, but for some reason I thought the Mariners they took 2 out of 3 against Milwaukee. But looking back at it,
No.
I forgot about that one.
They came in here and they smoked us. We were lucky to get one against.
They won the 1-0 game. With Gilbert. That's right.
Right. So the only thing if you said to me, Mitch, you can have one wish. I dream of Genie. You can have one wish granted. It would be the American League wish of either avoiding the Yankees altogether.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least until the American League Championship Series. I think the worst scenario, even though you'd like to have home field all the way through if you're the Mariners, I think the worst scenario is what everybody's saying on social media, which is, hey, Mr. Playoffs, we want to be 2. We don't want to be 1. We want to be the 2 seed, not the 1 seed, because if we're the 1 seed and the Blue Jays are the 2 seed, then the 1 plays the 4-5 winner, and that's the Yankees-Red Sox winner in the ALDS. So a lot of people don't even – all of a sudden now we don't even want to we don't even want the home field advantage. We just don't – we want to avoid the Yankees.
With the path of least resistance, well, they're not going to be – the Yankees' remaining schedule is terrible. What do they got? One more with the White Sox and then the Orioles, so they're not going to – and then the Blue Jays, what, they finish with the Rays?
They're both, I think, at home the rest of the way. Both the Blue Jays and the Yankees.
A tall task to get the number 1 seed.
Well, I'm okay with the 1 seed if and only if the Yankees are the 2 seed.
Right.
Don't want the 1 seed if the Blue Jays are the 2 seed, because I don't want the Yankees in a best of 5. I want the Yankees in a best of 7, and I want to have a chance for the Yankees to get eliminated before we even get to that best of 7. That's what I want.
What was your reaction when you saw Cal hit that thing that I have not in person ever seen a ball hit up there? Number 59.
Well, you and I have a very similar sense of humor. And so when I saw the list, did you see the list of the people that have hit the ball up to the right field?
Yeah, I have a personal favorite of who did it.
Okay, but you and I had the same reaction, which is
not a real who's who.
Well, it's all opposing team players. I mean, wait a second. Don't the Mariners play 81 games at home? Shouldn't they have a couple of people represented on that list of the people who have hit it in? It would be like looking at Yankee Stadium all-time home runs and having just a bunch of like Cleveland Indians and Minnesota Twins on the all-time Yankees Stadium list of home runs.
So I didn't do a deep dive into it. When Daniel Vogelbach did it, was he not here, or was he with somebody else?
He was here. I think he did it with here. Yeah.
That was my favorite guy on there. And Vogelbach hit it up there. You forget he's got a lot of power.
I remember when Mo Vaughn did it. I've told this story before. I don't know that I've ever told you this story. But when I get a kick out of this, when the Mariners were building Safeco Field, as we called it, okay, I went over there. They had me over there during the construction of Safeco Field with a hard hat on, and we went through the building, and then they took me into this trailer where they had all the plans and the models because the place was going up. There was a trailer, like a visitation trailer that was right nearby. And they had this thing, some people might know what I'm talking about that saw it. They had this model of Jay Buhner home runs. From the Kingdom, actual home runs. Yeah. And they had this model of how many they project are going to go out. When they built Safeco Field, the idea is that right-hand hitters who hit a massive home run down the left field line, it's going to go out of the building and onto the street. We're going to be like Chicago. We're going to have kids running down. I don't know, is that Royal Brome? I don't know. We're going to have kids lining up on the streets every night. This was the whole idea of the stadium. Every night, kids are going to stand outside waiting for home runs to hit. By the way, not one. How many years are we in this?
I've seen one.
Well, I think it was batting practice, wasn't it?
It was Gary Sheffield in batting practice.
I'm talking about in the games. They're supposed
I know.
They're supposed to be banging around down there with kids running around. This was a presentation of the new stadium. How many of Jay Buhner's balls would have gone out of the stadium? And as it turns out, I don't think we've seen one in 25 years. Not one. I think they missed the mark on that. They forgot.
Yeah, I think they were just a little bit off. just a tad off.
Isn't that?
How was when you were watching on TV?
Yeah.
What was the crowd like? Because the crowd in there, and I'll just say that for a game against the Rockies, and everything that was at stake, and I expected it to be a huge crowd, and it was a great crowd. They were everyone was into it from the get-go, and it was fun. It was it was a playoff atmosphere, like a playoff game. It was energized. I'm just curious if it came through, like the MVP chants. That MVP chant, I tried to capture on my phone and it didn't work, but that last at bat for him in the 8th inning, the chant, it was deafening.
Well, a shameless plug. We did the what you just mentioned, the note table last night to all of our ex-viewers, and then on Patreon. And then when I put it together to put it on Patreon, I started the show with music set to Cal Raleigh's home runs, and you can clearly hear on number 60, just before he swings the bat, MVP. You'd have to go back to my Patreon and listen to it with the This Week in Baseball theme song from like the 1970s, when I was growing up. The Cal Raleigh home run set to the music. You hear the MVP. I think, you ask an interesting question, and I was thinking about this watching the game last night. There's a dynamic. There's a psychology to what you guys saw with those of you at the game last night that I don't know that has ever really existed for the Mariners, which is you went to a game where you're already safe, right? You're just now adding layers. I don't even know the way to articulate this. You're building now. You've already gotten the playoffs. It's not like there was nervous energy in there because the energy had no need to be nervous. You're not in there going, this isn't like game 5 of the World Series or game 7 of the World Series where if you lose, you already had something in your back pocket. You already had the playoffs. This was just a coronation. And it wasn't like it was game 162. It was game 157 or whatever it was, 158. So you guys, it was like having your cake and eat it too. You already had the playoffs. You knew that this was happening. It was just a matter of when. You wanted it to happen in front of you. And now, by the way, to much lesser extent, the number 2 seed, right? They have a magic number of 1. That's going to happen tonight.
Right.
So you get playoffs one night, NL West or AL West the next night, and number 2 seed the following night. You can't beat it. It's great.
And you know what? I was talking to the go-to guy about this when I thought after they had clinched a playoff spot and they were all just getting getting shit-faced there in the clubhouse. I'm thinking maybe we should take the Rockies tomorrow on the money line. You never know, this would be the game. Now I think it's tonight's game. Now I feel like the heavy bet on the Rockies tonight because they were Did you see some of the pictures coming out of that thing last night? I think I saw Julio Rodriguez like he was back in the frat at Wazoo. He had a beer bong hanging from the ceiling last night. Julio Rodriguez. I'm thinking, who's the lineup tonight? Rivas is at short. Cole Young's at second. Raley at first. Ford's gonna catch. I don't know who's pitching.
Well, I look. I don't know. I don't know if he's going to change the lineup. I'll say two things about that. Number one, I could not believe how sharp they were last night. To your point, to your first point, I expected those guys to be running the wrong direction, not even going to first base, going to third base like a little leaguer, like a T-baller who doesn't know yet where to go. And I mean, I thought they were just going to be all hungover last night, and they came out of the freaking gate with the 3 home runs. Was at the bottom of the first. I think it was the bottom of the first. I mean, I could not believe that. So I'm out of the business of expecting hangovers and them not to play well tonight. I'm done because I would have expected that last night after what I watched in the clubhouse the previous night, right?
Maybe they play a little bit better, some champagne and beer down their throats. I don't know.
Yes.
Who knows?
Then the other thing, and this is the Mr. Playoffs thing in me, and you can call me, this is paralysis by analysis. Just remember one thing as you play reserves and not take tonight seriously. Just remember one thing as you play reserves and you rest people in the Dodgers series. Remember one thing. Well, actually remember two things. First of all, I would say once you clinch the number 2 seed, which you'll do tonight, you are not going to play Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. You've got nothing but time off. Maybe in some people's minds, too much time off. So I would just couple that with what I'm about to tell you, that you've got Monday through Friday off already. I would just say this. There's a chance you play the San Diego Padres in the World Series. It's an outside shot. There's a chance that you play some of these other National League teams in the World Series. There are 3 or 4 National League teams that have almost exactly the same record as you do. When you get to the World Series, seedings don't matter anymore. It's what your record was during the regular season, who gets the home field advantage. And I know I'm talking World Series. I know this is blasphemy. Mitch, what are you looking so far ahead? I'm just telling you, if you've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday off already, let's play these games and win these games, because it may come to the World Series, the Fall Classic, where these games are going to decide whether you have home field advantage or not.
And I think just and it's a great point. I think to piggyback on that though as well would be because of some, and I think it's a viable concern, especially in baseball, when you play every single day and then the team and then you wait and then you don't play for a week and then do you get out of rhythm a little bit and all of that. If you're already, to your point, going to be off Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, probably best to keep those guys in so they're getting more at bats because they know they're going to rest. So they're not even, I guess they're not less sharp before they start the ALDS. I mean, they're not going to take, I doubt Cal catches today.
Play them.
He's going to DH, but yeah, no, it's a great point for a couple of points. One, the advantage, and also just to stay sharp.
Play to win. I'm not asking them to catch Cal Raleigh the whole Dodgers series. I'm asking them to bat. Let's have him get his 4 at bats. Let's give him the chance of getting to 62. He's got 5 days coming up of little to no, activity. I'll give you another example. Do you have right now in front of you what the Dodgers record is right now as we speak? What's the Dodgers record?
Hold on.
And what's the Mariners record?
I think they're tied, right? You know this. You're asking me this as you know.
No, I don't. I don't
89 and 69 and the same record.
Same record. Now, is it preposterous that the Dodgers and Mariners could be in the World Series?
Absolutely not.
Do you want 4 of the 7 home games, or you want to go to the Dodger Stadium for 4 of the 7 games?
I do like Dodger Stadium, though.
Okay, but you can like it for 3 games out of 7.
Sure,
and not 4.
absolutely, 100%.
It could be the series. Could be 4 home field advantage in the World Series. A series where literally the Dodgers have nothing to play for and the Mariners have nothing to play for. It could be 4 home field advantage in the World Series. Could be.
See, that's what I've been thinking. Yes, I've been thinking about this last night and then all day today. See, when you say that, and then I read fan graphs, I hear Jim Duquette for the last 2 months telling me that they've got the best roster in the American League with the Yankees. None of it seems real.
It doesn't.
It does not seem real to me because I've grown up just expecting them to disappoint me. Just, because they do. They always disappoint me. So let me
ask you this in your audience, this question. Everybody can answer for themselves quietly. They're in the playoffs. They've won the West. They're going to be in the divisional series because they're not even going to have to play in the wild card series. Are they a disappointment if they lose the divisional series? How far do they have to go now for us to say, yeah, we got to wait longer for our first ever World Series, but that was fun and those guys are a success?
Well, listen, I don't like it. I don't like this question. I don't like it. I would say for them, of the expectations that the front office has put on themselves and the timeline that they've always talked about. I mean, listen, at minimum, it's the American League Championship, at minimum. But really, they have set their goal. They have said that this was the timeline they would compete for a championship. They would compete for a World Series. I mean, that's what they say. Now, for me, I'm not going to call it a disappointment if they don't make it to the World Series. I'm not going to go that far. I think it's hard. Certain things can happen, injuries, fluky plays, whatever. But yeah, if they don't get out of the division series, yes, I think it's a disappointment. They have to get to at least the ALC.
They got to win one series.
Yeah.
That's all they got to do is win one series.
What do you think?
I don't know. I'm asking the questions. I'm not answering the questions.
Yeah, well, that's what you always do. How about answer the goddamn Jesus. I don't know. I mean, here's the thing: is the fan in me. You know what? Screw it. I'm going to answer as a fan. The fan in me wants to say the World Series. I'm just going to be disappointed because they haven't been there. And they're the only team to not get there. They don't have to win it. They don't have to win it. They've got to get there. Because I'm tired of waiting, and I'm tired of the 10-year rebuild plan telling me that this was the year. Remember, it wasn't this year. It actually was 24. And I actually think before that it was 23. So now we're in 25. So the fan in me would say that.
So they got to beat Cleveland and the Yankees.
Yeah. For
it to be a successful
extract some revenge against the Yankees. That's the funny thing about the Yankees. We always talk about rivalries. It's the Padres and all that. They have a sneaky good playoff rivalry with the Yankees, 95. 2000, 2001. I'm just saying, like, when you think of things, they would never look at Seattle like that. I'm just saying, for a Mariners perspective, 3 series that have been pretty good.
I'm glad you brought up the rivalry with the Padres. Can we talk about that for a second?
Sure. What do you want to talk about?
Okay.
Oh, because doesn't you or Danny hate Eddie Vedder or something? Is that the deal?
I don't know that we hate Eddie Vedder. I don't certainly hate Eddie Vedder. I don't know Eddie Vedder. I just, they call the series the Eddie Vedder Cup. They make a big deal out of giving a guitar to one of the Padres or the Mariners. They have him in the booth with like Angie Mentink. I like to call her Angie Arlotti. Angie Mentink and Aaron Goldsmith. Smith. I just Schmidt.
Forget his name. I
was going to say Smith. And we make a big deal out of it. And like, right after he gets out of the booth with Aaron Goldsmith and Angie Mentink, he gets on a plane to Chicago and gets in a Cubs jersey and sits out in the freaking bleachers with Rizzo.
Anthony Rizzo.
And they're drunk out of their minds singing He couldn't get out of the freaking Seattle He couldn't give two shits about the Padres and the Mariners.
He's the Cubs. He's a Cubs fan. He's not even. I mean,
why are we doing this?
You know how it started? It was just like reporters. It was the reporters that started this.
Why do we do this, Puck? Here's what I would suggest next year during the Eddie Vedder Cup.
Yeah.
Instead of having him in the booth for the prerequisite interview on Root Sports, have him on during a Mariners-Padres game via satellite from Wrigley Field, where he's in the Chicago Cubs jersey, sitting in the stands. That's what I say. What are we doing, really?
We've gone this whole. You know what? We've talked this whole time, and this is what the beauty of what they have done. I mean, the Seahawks got a football game tonight. The Seahawks are playing the Cardinals tonight in a game in which they cannot kick. They cannot lose this game.
Cannot? Really?
No way. You cannot lose this game.
You cannot lose.
No way. Not with the injuries. Not with James Conner being out. They cannot go down there and kick this game. This is a must win. This was an inexcusable loss if they are able to kick this game tonight. I don't think they're going to.
Have you been following the Marvin Harrison yips? You following that story?
The dropsies, yeah. He's got a case of the dropsies.
Perfect timing. He's got my Syracuse guy, Marvin Harrison, his father. He dropped like 3 or 4 balls in the game last week, right in his hands. He's letting the ball get to his body. We could use a few more, but I don't know. You're putting the pressure on me to say they have to win tonight. They have to?
Yeah, they got to win. They got to win. They got to win that game. They can't go down there and lose. And they've dominated down there. Have you seen their record down there? I think it's 10. I saw their game notes. 10-1-1 at State Farm.
Is Stephen Hauschka kicking for us tonight?
No.
He never liked Arizona. Do you remember that?
He got hurt. Did he get hurt there too?
Well, he couldn't make a kick.
Yeah. The House of Horrors, that place, man. House of Horrors.
Remember Hauschka used to always blame something else. He never took accountability. No kick that he ever missed was his fault. It was always somebody else's fault. Even where is Steve? Like, what's he doing right now? Stephen Hauschka.
Golfing? Wasn't he a golfer?
I don't know. He was
no idea.
Maine. I think he was from New Hampshire, somewhere upper northeast.
Yeah.
And he never missed a kick that was his fault.
Well,
we got a game tonight.
That you're just people in this town. I mean, you're excited for. Can't wait, but it's like it's just Mariners fever.
Not that you would like this, because I know that this brings up a bad thing for you. But how about if the Mariners, in the middle of winning all these games, the Seahawks win tonight, and then the Huskies pull off the upset on Saturday against Ohio State? What if all of this is just stars aligned for Seattle area sports, and it all just falls right into our laps over the next 4 or 5 days?
Then I'm not going to do a show on Monday. You can go listen to Mitch Unfiltered dropping Mondays. You can get your recap there.
You know what I love about the go-to guy? I was watching and paying attention to the go-to guy in the lead up of the Washington State game. And he was already preparing himself for the worst before that game even kicked off. He was already, I think I saw one tweet from the go-to guy saying something like, even if we lose to you guys, I'm going to have fun watching you guys get blown out next week by Ohio State. He was already on the losing end. I think they lost because of his attitude before the game. How about that? I think
probably. You know, that Jed Fish playing with fire, that Jed Fish.
I didn't watch the very, very end. Was he running up the score? Is that what was happening?
Yeah, but I don't care about the running up the score. See, that's not my deal. I don't care. You know what? You want to score, go ahead.
What happened, Bubba?
Problem is that he's got his high, and I agree with you. I mean, Damon Williams is a stud. He is an absolute stud.
Right.
Fact is, and he'll garner Heisman attention soon. It probably, they got to. Here's the thing. They have faith. He has a huge game this weekend, and clearly it will happen.
And don't forget, Johnny Mateer got hurt, right?
I know that's too bad. Yeah, John. I don't. Did they say how long he's out?
4 weeks, I think, and he was the Heisman front runner.
Yeah, it's too bad. But here's the thing about Fish. Like, that was coaching malpractice. You have a kid in there with 2 minutes to play in the game.
Oh,
I mean, that is just it's just you never would do that. No one should do that.
I don't think he was concerned with the guys on the other side of the line of scrimmage.
Did you watch the game? No, listen, he took 3 hits to the head in that game.
He did take a couple of hits for sure. For sure.
All it takes is him planting his foot the wrong way and he's out. That's just dumb coaching. But whatever, nothing happened. So he wanted his blowout. He got his blowout. Pound sand. I don't like the Fisher. Don't like him at all. All right, reminder.
Yes.
As we wrap up.
Yes.
Once the live show is over, the only place to watch and listen to this, become a if Mitch Unfiltered patron, you can watch it there, MitchUnfiltered.com, or sign up at pucksports.com, become a Pucks Posse member. It's just $5 a month.
And if you are a Pucks Posse member, count the words that he uses to describe the show. Because my copy and pasting, I'm not getting much on the copy.
Well, I'm just going to say we talked about the Mariners. That's it. That's all you're going to get today. Thank you, Mitch. We'll see you next week. There he is, Mitch Unfiltered, KJ-Arent, another edition of KJ-Arent with Mitch Levy, a host of the Mitch Unfiltered podcast. Our weekly show airs in its entirety during the live daily puck drop. But once the live show is over, you must sign up to become a Pucks Posse member to listen to the full show at pucksports.com, or you can become a Mitch Unfiltered patron at MitchUnfiltered.com. All right, let's wrap up the show with Hey, What the Puck, brought to you by Restoration One of North Seattle. It's your restoration company that lets you avoid the stress of water, fire, mold damage with their property restoration services, locally owned and operated. Make him your first call when those damages affect your residential or commercial property. 206-817-8917. Or you can visit their website at restoration1.com. Again, North Seattle franchise. Started off the show like this. We talked to Mitch about this. It feels surreal and doesn't feel real, I guess, that when you hear everyone praise this baseball team, how good they are, and the chances to win the World Series, I want to believe it. And you know what? They're all right. It is the scar tissue of so much heartbreak with this team that I just, not that I can't fully accept that reality is a reality. That idea is a reality, that it could happen. But when you watch their energy last night, you watch them play, you watch how the crowd was on Wednesday night, and you start to think ahead and what they would face in the divisional series, what they would face there in the championship series. Right, they do. They've got as good a shot as anyone to not only get there, but to win the whole damn thing. Fangraphs has them as the biggest favorite to win the whole thing. Again, that's just a computer calculation. But it's a damn good baseball team. It really is. Got a lot of good players, play for one another. Good pitching. Pitching's coming around at the right time. This rest is going to be perfect for the bullpen. It's going to be a hell of a ride here in the next month plus. All right, that is Hey, What the Puck, again, brought to you by Restoration One of North Seattle. It's your restoration company. It's going to let you avoid the stress of water, fire, and mold damage with their property restoration services. Locally owned and operated. Make them your first call. Damages affect your residential or commercial property. 206-817-8917. Visit them at restoration1.com. Big thanks to everybody watching and listening today. Thank you to our sponsors, as always, Limback Lumber, Zogs on Fox Island, John Howie Steak, Hartley and Hartley Insurance, Georgetown Brewery. Check out their new tavern beer at your local bar, georgetownbeer.com, and restoration1.com. Today's Daily Puck Drop, as always, find it up on YouTube. When you're there, please subscribe to the channel. Also hit that like button. Also find the Daily Puck Drop on your favorite podcast platforms. And when you're there at pucksports.com, when you go there, sign up to become a member of the Pucks Posse. $5 a month, you support all the free content we do. And with your membership, we give you bonus shows every single week, like our baseball coverage with Ryan Divish, KJ-Arent with Mitch Levy, and our monthly podcast, Sports Bit with Steve Sandmeyer, Matt Stretch Johnson. And we give you bonus interviews as well. Joel Damon, we give you an early release of the Joel Damon interview. That one is up right now. I was going to play some clips of it. I forgot to get to it. But Joel Damon, that is up on YouTube right now. Our conversation with Joel, myself, and Jim Moore. Also up on the Pucks Posse page is the audio version of Joel Damon's interview with us. It's free. And then also up right now on YouTube. For all you Cougar fans, Old Crimson Podcast. We put a wrap on the Apple Cup, the Zevi decision, a look ahead to Colorado State. That's up on YouTube as well. And it is a part of the Daily Puck Drop from yesterday. So you can check it all out there on YouTube and go to the Pucks Posse membership page at pucksports.com. All right, that's it. That's it for us. That's it for a Thursday. God, this week's flying by. You have fun baseball to watch. It does fly by. Tomorrow, Friday, it's our Football Friday tailgate show. We'll talk to Todd Millis, varsitywanews.com, get you caught up on the latest in high school football. Chris Egan will stop on by. King 5 Big Game of the Week. We'll recap our Big 5 Game of the Week last week that I did with him, Issaquah Skyline. Jim Moore will be back. Troy Wins, our handicapper, gets you his top picks for the weekend. And last word with Bob Condotta from the Seattle Times, talking, we'll be recapping the Seahawks Cardinals game instead of previewing it coming up tomorrow. All right, we will talk to you on Friday's edition of the Daily Puck Drop. Until then, as always, we promise to be better.
No shoes, no ties.
Anybody like to smoke some pot?
Yeah. I was born I was born to lick your face. I was born to rub you, but you were born to rub me first.
What do you need my address for? We like to send out a mailer.
Mother of mercy, I don't speak Japanese!